This is Shawn Harwell, and you're listening to the Never Heard of It podcast. I'm joined today for this mini episode. I think this is 39.5. We lose track sometimes. We've done a couple of these by now. My co-host, co-champion, co-creator, co-pilot, and
Cokehead,
Roscoe Pico Train, Mr.
Craig Moorhead,
Esquire,
the third. And and today is our mini episode. We're going to talk about things you have heard of in little quick capsule segments to keep the information robust, but the time spent very small.
I like that.
Thank you. It's super catchy. It just rolls right off the tongue. So if you're just hearing us for the first time, you may be surprised to know that we have a website, neverheardpodcast.com. We're on Twitter at Never Podcast. You can find us on Instagram, on Facebook. Just Google Never Heard of It Podcast. You will most likely find us somewhere. We're on your iTunes. You could subscribe. Leave a review unless you hate it. And feel free to suggest things to talk about in these mini episodes or movies to talk about.
Our most recent full episode, we talked about the 83. I'm going to call it a cult classic just because it should be. It certainly is in certain circles. The movie is Get Crazy. It's Airplane meets the Blues Brothers, directed by Alan Arkush of Rock and Roll High School fame. Go check that out. That was a fun episode. I enjoyed that one.
Yeah, super fun movie. And it's a great talk. Go and check that out, and then check out the movie, or vice versa, whichever order you want to do them in. But you should definitely check them both out. So, Shawn, what are we going to talk about today?
We're going to start today with one of my absolute favorite filmmakers, and that is Mr. P.T. Anderson, Paul Thomas.
Love him.
As you know him. And the news has come out that his next movie has begun filming, and it's reteaming him with the great Daniel Day-Lewis from There Will Be Blood. I can't remember. I don't think there's a title yet for this movie.
Well, they have a working title of Phantom Thread, apparently.
You're right. Thank you for reminding me of that. I couldn't remember that. It's called that, not because I don't think it has anything to do with Phantom Menace. I think we could be wrong.
Could be wrong.
It looks like it's set in the world of 1950s London fashion. And boy, I don't know anything about that world.
Nope.
So I'm excited to see what the heck they're going to cook up with this.
Yeah.
And it looks as if, and I'm pulling from an article from the Film Stage, which is citing other sources, but there are rumors that Mr. Anderson may be shooting this movie himself. He may serve as his own director of photography. Robert Elswit, who's his normal DP, is confirmed as not doing it, so we know that at least. And yeah, that's pretty interesting. There's only a handful of dudes that do that, and boy, that sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah, it surely does. And I was going to say too, I remember when There Will Be Blood was announced. I remember hearing what it was about, and sort of having a similar feeling as I feel about this one right now, which is kind of like, that doesn't get me super excited.
Right.
And then There Will Be Blood came out and just blew my mind.
It does feel like with that and the last couple of movies that he's done, he's definitely moving away from a very sort of formal narrative or plot. Definitely not like a movie plot, at least.
Right.
Versus, even some of his other stuff, Magnolia, for all its craziness, feels like a big ensemble Robert Altman picture, whereas, now the stuff he does just feels exclusively like a P.T. Anderson movie to me and obviously a lot of people.
Yeah.
This is all I really need. Like, just give me an interesting world and setting, and knowing that, There Will Be Blood was set at the time that it was, and it was about oil. Okay, that's interesting. The Master is, somewhat based on the formation of Scientology. Okay, I'm there, you know. And the same with Inherent Vice. Oh, it's a Thomas Pynchon novel set in, 70s LA, pseudo-comedy, film noir, whatever. Okay, I like that he's at that point where he can just sort of build a film around that, and that's all they need to release as far as, garnering interest. And I hope they will keep it that way. I'm not looking for spoilers on this movie whatsoever. I think it will be about the experience. That said, do you have a favorite P.T. Anderson movie from his oeuvre?
Man, I gotta say still, and I mean, they're all very close to each other. I think Magnolia is still the one for me.
Really?
And maybe even for somewhat sentimental reasons, because I had seen Boogie Nights and loved Boogie Nights.
Yeah.
But like Magnolia, it just, I don't know, kind of beat me silly.
When's the last time you watched that movie?
Within the last year.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
I bought the Blu-ray and I haven't watched it in a while, but I'm excited to check that out. And then I know Criterion just put out Punch Drunk Love. I'm dying to see that again. It's been a while.
Yeah, I mean, again, I gotta say they're all close seconds. There are no thirds.
Yeah, I think I'm still in the Boogie Nights camp. Actually, I mean, that's it's such a good movie. It's such an interesting world, and it's fun. I think it's probably the most fun of his movies in a lot of ways. I don't know. I would probably say There Will Be Blood is maybe the best as far as the craft of it all. Maybe.
Sure.
I don't know.
Sure.
I really liked Inherent Vice. I know a lot of people didn't quite get on board with that one. Any of these movies that he's done, I think especially of like the last 3 or so, you can pull any individual moment out of them and just be mesmerized by it, even if like, okay, yeah, maybe the experience of it, the whole piece didn't quite work for you.
Yeah.
But I also wanted to bring up Inherent Vice because I just learned, of course, after the fact that we talked to Brian O'Connell, the director of Bloodsucking Bastards, who's going to be on next week's episode. One of the actresses in that movie, Yvette Yates, was in Inherent Vice. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah, we're making connections here.
Sharing that DNA. Yeah, we're slowly working our way up to our final episode, which is us interviewing P.T. Anderson.
For 6 hours.
It's going to be an incredible event. So just get ready for that.
Yeah.
He knows about it. We know about it. Trust me. It's happening.
Yeah, we're not saying when it's going to happen. It could. It could be a while from now.
Right. It could drop tomorrow.
Yeah.
Be ready for it. Check our website incessantly. I would also want to point out at filmstage.com, where we got some of this information, there's a video they've embedded called 360 Behind the Scenes, where Johnny Greenwood is rehearsing with the London Contemporary Orchestra. They're rehearsing the score for There Will Be Blood, which they're going to apparently perform live. It's kind of an incredible video, and we will post a link to that so people can check that out.
I definitely need to watch that. I was a big fan of the music that he's done, specifically for There Will Be Blood. I still think it's crummy that he didn't get nominated for an Oscar for that score because of some weird stipulation, because some of it was already pre-recorded, I think, or pre-written at least, before the movie.
See, now that's something, and I need to go back and watch this again, because I need to figure out why this has stuck with me so much, aside from the fact that it's like a bunch of geniuses making a movie. But like the opening shot of There Will Be Blood is basically just a gigantic rock face with this like droning score coming in on it, and yet I haven't forgotten that opening shot.
Yeah.
Like at all. Like I still think about how that opened, and then I think about, why do I keep thinking about how that opened? But I do.
Well, I think, if P.T. Anderson is going to be in our last episode, or our second to last episode, we got to get James Franco, right?
Yeah, by then we'll have already watched all of his movies.
Yeah. And, again, we talked about Child of God. I sent you a link to a trailer, which I don't know if you had a chance to check it out. Okay, great.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's got another movie coming out, of course, that he's directed. I don't think he did the screenwriting duties this time, so he at least took a break on that. And he stars in, this is an adaptation of the John Steinbeck novel, In Dubious Battle. And it's, the real basic synopsis is sort of about a labor uprising among migrant Apple workers, I think, in the 30s in California. Mm-hmm. That's about as Steinbeckian as you get, probably.
Oh, yeah.
But man, what a great cast he's got here. Vincent D'Onofrio, Selena Gomez is in there, Robert Duvall, Bryan Cranston, Ed Harris, Josh Hutcherson, Sam Shepard, Scott Hayes, who we appreciated quite a bit from Child of God, is in there. Yeah. Zach Braff is in there.
Yeah, I didn't see him in the trailer. I kept looking for him.
I didn't notice Scott Hayes in the trailer either. But
no.
This trailer, it's definitely not bad, and like you're seeing again his eye develop like right in front of us. I feel like there's some beautiful shots in that trailer. I think specifically of like that train moving and that smoke billowing out of it. It's just a nice overhead angle.
Yeah.
I will say I'm a bit on the fence about some of the accents going on in this movie and some of the dialogue delivery. That and it's the stupidest thing to say in the world, because what do I possibly know about how people talked in the 30s other than what I've seen in movies? when I watch this, sometimes I'm like, this doesn't feel like people in the 30s talking to me, Even
Well, it's like when James Franco steps off the train, he's like, YOLO!
spring break. No, he doesn't say spring break.
Yeah.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it looks good. It looks like a step up from Child of God, which was
certainly
no
in
slouch
budget,
in its own
yeah.
right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, certainly in budget. For me, the trailer was totally fantastic up until the point where you kind of see, these guys are talking about basically going and starting some shit with the owners who are treating the workers horribly. Mm-hmm. And things are still good after that. But I don't know if you kind of felt it too. It just felt like the air was kind of being let out as we went along there. I don't know if it was the music or something. Like, it felt like such a good build-up, and then all I kind of wanted to see were just like some people punching faces and something
the
like that,
explosion of that,
and then get out of there. But still, I mean, it feels like a timely story.
Yeah.
And it looks pretty good. So, I'll be interested to see how that turns out.
I agree. So I think what we're trying to say is, once again, don't sleep on Franco as a director. There's definitely some talent there. I feel like this will end up on streaming probably sooner rather than later this year, because these movies are tough sells in theaters,
Sure.
Unless they just come out of the gate with really strong critical reaction. So we'll keep you posted on that. Hopefully it'll pop up online somewhere. We can all watch it.
How long before you think he's nominated for an Oscar?
For directing?
Yeah.
It's tough to say. I think it's gonna be the right material. I think it really will come down to that. I mean, I feel like the skill set is probably already there. And obviously, I mean, actors must love the guy, because look at the people he's pulling. The real question maybe was, will it be for a movie that he himself is in?
Yeah.
I couldn't help but watching that trailer a little bit, wondering if he pulled himself out of this equation, would you just react differently to it, Which is, I don't know, fair or unfair, but look, he's a movie star, and I like him a lot as an actor, so.
Indeed.
Let's talk on one more trailer, and we're going to say this because we got another guest coming on who we've already recorded the episode, and he immediately said, I should have mentioned this as a movie I'm excited about for the year. We won't spoil who it is just yet, but it's the Beauty and the Beast live-action reboot starring Miss Emma Watson from Harry Potter fame, of course, as Belle. And I don't know, I'm completely on board with this movie, I gotta say.
Yeah.
I knew of Beauty and the Beast as the Disney movie that got nominated for Best Picture. I never remember seeing it at that time. I didn't really start watching it again until, I had a kid, and my daughter loves that movie, and we got the Blu-ray or whatever, and that thing, it looks fantastic, that movie. It's a beautifully animated movie.
Yeah. And
the songs are great. The characters are funny. And it's pretty good. And of course, I think anytime this story is being retold, which it has been told 8 million times now.
It's a tale as old as time.
It's a tale as old as time. A song as old as rhyme. And the question is, how good is the Beast? So... I feel like that's where you draw the line, right? How much you believe that character. What are you feeling on that front watching this trailer?
I think it looks good. It's cast well. This was, at the time when this came out, this was probably my favorite one of these movies. Like, all these movies, had pretty good storytelling, good voice casting, pretty funny stuff going on. Yeah. I always think of like this, Little Mermaid, Lion King, and Aladdin, for some reason, are kind of all grouped together in my memory. And this one was to me, it was sort of the funniest and the most interesting one of those for me. Mm-hmm. So it's interesting. Yeah, I think you're right. It is gonna depend how engaging that Beast can be. I feel like you don't get a lot of Beast in the trailer. Like, there's not. I mean, like seeing dialogue scenes play out over minutes. It'll be interesting to see. I mean, it's an animal, and somehow animals sort of fare better with the whole uncanny valley thing than human beings do. So I'm sure my kids are going to love it, and it looks good. It certainly, judging by this trailer, certainly looks like they have gone just scene by scene through the animated movie.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And I kind of was thinking they might not do that, but it looks like everything seems to be represented So we'll see.
Yeah, and I mean, from what I can tell, they're using the exact same music, which I think is really smart. I do think, it's like the eyes of the beast look a little like that's where I'm like, I got to see it in scene to really get a feel for that, or to just, I guess, get over noticing that, So
yes.
I can tell you one thing, Craig.
What's that?
It's going to make a lot of money.
It might.
I feel safe in predicting that.
There's a chance.
Well, let's talk, I don't want to say the wrong word. Let's say aging badasses for a second.
Oh.
Got two pieces of news here. So it looks like Mel Gibson may step back into some comedy work in front of the camera. And it's being reported that he may join the sequel to the Mark Wahlberg, Will Ferrell movie, Daddy's Home. And it looks like he and John Lithgow are both coming aboard. So I'm guessing maybe he will play Wahlberg's father, perhaps. Although I don't think it's said in this article.
That seems most likely, though.
Yeah. I haven't seen Daddy's Home. I heard someone told me very recently that they thought it was really, really funny. I was like, really? I wasn't quite sold by those trailers. And so maybe I should check it out. But I got to say, like, just this news, like, kind of makes me more excited in seeing the sequel than I would have been without it.
It's an interesting choice.
So I was reading this story also about Liam Neeson, the other aging badass. So I guess he's going to be in another thriller, which that in itself is the least surprising thing you'll probably hear this week. But it's a remake of a movie, and it's a Norwegian movie. And I want to read you the Norwegian title, okay?
Okay.
In Order of Disappearance. You like that title?
Wait a second. Oh, it's a remake of In Order of Disappearance.
Yes. So that was what it was translated to in Norwegian, okay?
Right.
Do you like that?
I've seen that title. I do kind of like that title.
I like that title too, right? That feels like a good thriller title.
Yeah.
So, but the remake, right now the title is Hard Powder, which to me is, I know, that feels like the most American thing in the world. It's like how do we make this more extreme?
How do we make snow exciting?
Yeah, exactly. Because the character is a snowplow driver, and then there's a drug connection. So they were like, "Well, this is perfect. Right. It's like a powder, but it's hard powder, the cocaine."
Oh man! And the worst thing is, it kind of brings to mind that movie Powder from back in the day, which had a really terrible sort of child molestation thing happening in the background.
Yeah.
So yeah, none of that was good. But what were you saying?
Well, I'm saying they're going to do a sequel to Powder, and Liam Neeson is going to play Powder's dad. So this is all connected.
I see. I didn't get... Okay, yes. That makes more sense.
No. Titles are hard, so there's that. And you know what? I'm sure this will play right into Liam Neeson's target audience right now. That first trailer comes out, it's like, oh, holy shit, Hard Powder looks awesome. We'll be eating crow, but until then... Yeah,
I mean, I'll watch any action movie that Liam Neeson is in. I will watch, and I have.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it. I honestly hope he never stops making action movies. And I don't care if he's 90. I hope they find a way. They got CGI can make it happen.
Sure, anyway. No problem. Well, I think we would maybe be doing disservice if we don't at least mention the Oscars a little bit, because the nominations came out since last time we talked, and then I don't know how exactly it's going to line up for us to talk about the actual show at some point. We will, of course. That's airing February 26th. But I just real quickly wanted to do just the Best Picture nominees, because you and I were talking a little bit about trying to think if there was something that got snubbed or whatnot. So we got La La Land, Arrival, Lion, Hell or High Water, Hidden Figures, Moonlight, Hacksaw Ridge, Manchester by the Sea, Fences. Mm-hmm. I've seen a grand total of 3 of those.
I've seen an even grander total of 0.
I wanted to bring up a movie that you and I talked about that I think did get snubbed, Craig.
Well, and what movie is that?
That movie is The Witch. Damn it. And here's the question.
Yeah.
The Witch is sitting right now on Rotten Tomatoes with a score of 91%. Critics loved that movie.
Sure.
They loved it in February. why didn't it get nominated? I mean, and like, what has to happen for a horror movie to get nominated again?
Well, first of all, I don't know, what was the last quote unquote horror movie that was nominated for anything? Silence of the Lambs?
Sixth Sense, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not really horror,
But it's a good example anyway. Whereas I mean, the witch did not make a huge splash in any specific, like there isn't like that performance that everyone's doing impersonations of, and there's not that gigantic box office that we couldn't believe. And then it came out in February, and there didn't seem to be a huge push for it. So yeah, I mean, I can kind of see how it would fall to the wayside, but I would have loved to see it because looking at this, I was thinking, man, you got like good indie movie, you got a war movie, you got sci-fi in there, you've got a musical. It's like, what is this missing? Yeah, aside from, I don't know, a straight out comedy, which maybe La La Land is. I feel like La La Land's not a comedy.
No, it's definitely not a straight up comedy. I have seen that one.
Yeah.
So.
Like, I mean, those are the two things I would like to see nominated soon with my name on them, is a comedy and a horror. I mean, we have 10 Best Pictures now. Come on.
I know, and like that's again, like they only used 9 of those possible slots. So I think in that sense, yeah, it is kind of disappointing.
Yeah.
It's just like, what, you couldn't come up with one more? I mean, I still haven't seen Loving, but people seem to really like that. Same with 20th Century. I've heard 20th Century Women is terrific. And, looking at this, I got to sit down and watch Hell or High Water. I've heard great things. Obviously, that's the writer of Sicario. There's some pedigree there. Mm-hmm. That's made $27 million at the box office. The Witch made $25 million. So I think, that maybe is a more apt comparison of the other nominees, maybe, as far as like, okay, this is a smaller movie. Yeah, you got some bigger name actors in there, but got good response on the indie circuit. It's a genre pick. It looks like a crime story kind of thing. And here it is, sitting with a beautiful Best Picture nominee. So,
yeah,
I don't know. I feel bad for The Witch. I think it should have been in there. It would have got my vote based on what I've seen. And I think of the stuff I've seen so far, I'm rooting for Moonlight. It's hard not to root for that movie. And I got to watch some of the other ones.
Hey, well, off the top of your head, is there a comedy you saw last year that you could have seen as a Best Picture? The closest I come to a comedy that I actually saw was Deadpool. And I guess I don't see that really getting nominated.
Yeah, well, it did on the Golden Globe side, and I know there were people that were really pushing for it. I still got to see that. I will say maybe The Lobster could have slotted in there. I mean, that's a very specific type of comedy.
Sure.
I certainly laughed, though, and I think it got nominated for Best Screenplay, though. So kudos to them.
Yeah.
But yeah, it may be a while before there's another just out-and-out comedy, or even something that leans as heavily comedic as, say, Annie Hall. Or horror. So yeah, I guess we have work to do on
we really do
on the writing side.
Yeah.
Well, Craig, that's pretty much all I have. I did want to say a quick thanks to everybody that watched Red Oaks. We're doing a 3rd season, which is great news, and that will be the last one, which is kind of sad news, but I think that we're gonna wrap it all up in a very cool way. And yeah, if you haven't yet listened to the episode with Jogi and Jimmy, where we talked about Heaven Help Us, he's one of the showrunners of Red Oaks, and that was a blast as well. Check that one out. And keep it coming. I'll let you know when season 3 is going to drop.
Yeah, man, it's a bummer to hear it's going to come to an end, but looking forward to those new shows.
Well, that's it for this time. We will be back next time. Again, we got Brian O'Connell on. We are talking about a movie called Bad Milo. And that is streaming on Netflix, and I feel like that's all I want to tell you.
Yes. Go and watch it, and after you start it, don't stop it.
If nothing else, go seek out the poster. That's a good one.
Please. Yeah.
But that'll be fun, and come back for that, and until then, we'll catch you where we catch you, probably in our mitts.
Mm-hmm. Keep those mitts full. And keep those teeth clean. Shawn and Craig out.
Peace. Gotta keep them teeth clean.